Are we rolling right now?
Yeah, we're rolling now.
We're rolling. So
we're rolling.
We're rolling.
There you go. So we naturally
We've just done it. I've just said it.
Tick that one.
I think it is, before we actually get properly into it, it's worth me actually introducing the guest today because it's big. It's big. Dan's back with me, by the way.
Hello there.
Took a bit of a hiatus, but he's here now. A phenomenal music producer. Had a few releases this year. I've known for a while, short while, or known of at least. Incredible vocalist, can sing. Really talented when it comes to production. Joe Garrett joins us. Hello, brother.
How are you doing?
Amazing. How are you?
Thank you for the amazing intro.
No worries.
Appreciate
Ellis
it.
is here as well.
Hello.
To be honest, yeah, Ellis has joined us, which really, aside from also being a good friend and a talented musician, you're welcome. I think realistically, you owe us time.
You've
on this
been
podcast.
mentioned on every single episode.
Really?
You and
Well,
Brighton. You and Brighton.
You said you watched it, obviously.
Yeah.
And you've noticed this.
Joking.
Yeah, I think it's between you and Brighton that go toe to toe with the most
Brighton?
mentioned. Brighton gets so much airtime
Like
on this
this-
podcast.
This podcast is just turning into your life.
It's my life.
It's
Yeah,
just-
it's what it is.
Okay.
Especially the return one. But yeah, thank you boys for coming through.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
I think it's going to be a weird podcast here because, like, especially for me and Els, how we communicate, if we spoke how we would normally speak, just wouldn't translate.
We've got to tone it down.
So we have
a
to
bit.
try and tone it down a bit and try and get some genuine conversation going. But I think best way to kick it off is that there's a weird kind of quartet of connections here of how we all know each other, which actually I'm probably the least connected to. How did you three actually connect? And then we'll get into the tracks.
How did us?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, Dan was managing me at the time, probably 2015, 2016. And then I had a track with a guy called Beau Collins, amazing producer.
Classic.
Yeah. And we tried a couple vocals on it, didn't we? And then I think Dan, I mean, we briefly spoke about this before.
Yeah.
We went over it because we were unsure. But so yeah, Dan reached out to Joe, and we got a little vocal from Joe, which we all loved straight away. But do you want to tell the story about that? Because that's quite funny.
Yeah, I feel like that was a funny one. So
Just checking your heartbeat.
yeah, it was just checking, like, it just says reflect
Got
on how you're
spike.
feeling right now. It's
Reflect
like, are you okay?
Do you want to look straight into cam one and just go?
Yeah,
deep?
I'm all right. But so Joe and I have known each other since
2015, I think, was the first time
yeah.
you reached out.
I think back then we worked on some music, as in you released some music.
Yeah, well, I think you found me on SoundCloud
Mm.
and you reached out about a track that I'd released, Golden,
Yeah,
which you really
yeah,
liked.
yeah.
And then through that, we started talking, got
Yeah.
on a few meetings. You were based in Birmingham at the time.
Birmingham.
You
Yeah.
also had hair at that point, I believe.
I did.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
And a leather jacket. Still a beautiful end. Still a beautiful end. And yeah, no, but then that's how it started. And then we just kept in touch. And then obviously the track came through, did a vocal, and then that's how the three of us.
Yeah.
became
Because
connected.
I think, without taking the glory for it, I think I may have messaged you about like the track that we needed a vocal or something, and we were looking at it earlier. And it was like, we were basically like, I messaged you, just say like, Joe, we're gonna pay you a fee.
Yeah.
No, we said like, oh, this is the fee. Is that all right? And you were like, oh, I didn't realize I had to pay to be on the track. I haven't got any cash right now. Like, I'd love to do it.
When
But
we looked at that, I was like, oh, so young, so new to it, so new to it.
I
But
love the idea of like, it's like you're in your paper round era and you get like, they go, just put it in an envelope, send it
I have to
Dan.
pay. I have to pay to do this.
can you imagine?
Yeah.
I could have actually turned that around and got like
should
some
have
money.
finessed
Yeah, you could,
know what I
you
mean?
could have actually.
How
And then we
innocent
would have
of
never
you.
spoke again.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But I love that track. Really cool track.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank you.
I don't know how much I can play of it to actually
Just play a
without us
quick
getting
snippet,
claimed, especially
yeah.
because we're in like the first start. But I'll play a little bit of it. All right.
Maybe do the drop.
Yeah, I'm done. There we go. Such an literally, it's like Bromsgrove Ellis sound.
Proper throwback.
Yeah.
It's my Birmingham era right there.
Yeah.
All
And-
right. If Art, Gino, if you claim this, I'm coming for you.
No, we
Better not
can
claim
reach
this.
out. We can't do it. But yeah, so then I guess fast forward in time. At this point, I knew you when we released that track. We were at Boa then.
Yes.
And then obviously we went and lived together. We've touched on this before on the podcast anyway. Then obviously it connected to you. I vividly remember the first time you were like, you in school. So me and Ellis went to the same school together.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, my manager's like going to come and pick me up."
Oh, God.
like walked out of school, and
With my
then Dan
rucksack
was just stood it. I think you're in like a black Corsa. Was it a Corsa?
No,
Nah,
I
it
had a BMW.
Probably
no?
in a Beamer from day
wow.
one. He was born in a BMW.
Come on.
I was like, and then you like,
BMW and
Those
leather
royalties
jacket.
coming in.
got in the car with this bloke, and I was like, well, I won't see him again. And now I speak on a podcast.
Well, yeah,
with
I
him.
don't think we've gone through the story about how I got in touch with you initially.
Yeah.
So I was managing a couple artists, a guy called Ice Cold, and I think Domestic at the time, or maybe Domestic was a bit later. But I was like heavily into the like future house scene, and I was like, I want to work with more artists. And I went on SoundCloud, classic SoundCloud, messaging people, searched for Birmingham, literally just searched for Birmingham, eventually found Ellis, messaged him. I think you had, what track was it out?
Probably either Blink or Duck Sauce or both.
I think it was both.
Oh my God,
I think it was
Blink.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're,
That was the first one, right?
yeah, Blink is not even on my artist profile
Discography.
anymore, and I don't even know if Duck Sauce is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
I'll have a
You know,
look.
go and have a look.
But I messaged him and I was like, hey, I really love these tracks, whatever. What was it I said? I can't remember exactly what I
He's
said.
just like, can I come round to yours for a meeting?
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like 16, 17 years old.
And then I
maybe.
had to have a phone call with your dad,
Yeah.
like the next day or something, to explain like I'm okay. I'm not gonna do anything weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, ended up going around his house, and then I became,
Yeah, it was
management or
literally
whatever.
just you left the house and then you were my manager.
That's
Yeah.
so
That was it.
weird.
Yeah.
You've got an ear for it, Dan.
But
You
then
know
I
what you're
feel like Joe, like we've spoken. Yeah, it
Maybe
it was through
pre then.
SoundCloud. It was
It
way
was-
before that. It was way before Ellis.
Really?
for sure.
It was 2015. I think it was 2015. It would have been just after, or maybe towards the end of 2015.
Did we release stuff on Bearskin?
Yeah, or was it Cosmic?
Cosmic.
Cosmic.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. With
such a throwback.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
traveling
yeah.
through time, like going way
a
back.
while ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm sorry at the loop on that one. I think since like that time now, I mean, it's different for me living with you, Els, because like I've heard day to day the shift in sound. But I think there's, especially for you recently, Joe, and Els, I'd say like maybe in the last like probably post like EP time, like post Recollection Perspective, like
Yeah.
there's definitely a noticeable difference in sound. Even Joe, to like you singing on Anyway, to like the kind of
Yeah.
stuff you're releasing now, you can see the shift. I mean, coming to you first, like what's made you kind of take, I guess even for you took that step back for a little bit.
Yeah.
And now you're back with the whole new like brand. There's that indie kind of style.
yeah. I think it's just I found a love for like more sort of like sound design, delving into more the sort of technical side of things, and then that kind of the sort of weirder, wilder side of electronic music, like hyperpop sort of style, was really heavily influential on me. So then I kind of punctuated that with a bit of a shift in brand as well. I don't know if you've noticed the artwork with the whole.
We spoke about it
kind of vibe, yeah.
on the podcast that
Yeah.
is actually coming. I think coming out or being. No, I think it's been out actually. We spoke about with the squares.
Yeah.
The coloured squares.
Oh, thank
we
you.
mentioned it before. Yeah,
You've always done your artwork as well. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
like way back in the day. Do you
Yeah.
still do it now, or?
I do, yeah. And at the
Sick.
time, I
You
didn't
make
know.
it yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
That's sick, man.
I didn't know what to do for it, so I just found myself staring like Photoshop just at a blank canvas, like just good old writer's block, not knowing what to do. And I just found myself staring at like the Photoshop checkered background when there's nothing there. And I was like, that kind of works, maybe.
That's just
So,
cool.
yeah. And I suppose it's like there was nothing yet to be explored with it yet. So
Have
yeah,
you
that
tried
kind of vibe.
the AI generative fill?
Yes.
Bro.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to try that.
So what I was
It's
showing
mad.
you.
I was trying to finish a song the other day, and he was sat right next to me. He was like, "Oh, look at this, look at this." Turn around, start working. I'm like, "Look at this, look at this. You've got 3 heads, and you've got a melon on your head."
And that's literally what I was doing. It was like photos from when we went to Lisbon. And we were trying to go to the pub. We didn't make it to the pub because he was like, well, if you keep showing me this, like, I'm not going to get it done. And I would say there's a few things in life that I can confidently say I'm good at. And annoying Ellis, are like so good at it. I'm probably the most annoying person to you in your life, right?
Yeah,
I've
probably.
witnessed this at length already.
Yeah.
In the past,
Already?
like,
Yeah, I mean,
hour.
we've been together an hour, and Joe's seen it all. Yeah, definitely the most annoying person
It got
I've
to
ever
the...
met.
But seeing is, that's an achievement. I'm gassed at that.
Yeah.
Because it got to the point in like the gaff that we lived in together where like, I think I'd be like so bored of trying to do something creative that he'd be producing, I'd just go, else.
I don't think I've seen that
Else.
side of you, or I'm numb to it. Because I think in work you're annoying, but you're not.
I am
like,
annoying, but the thing is, I know the levels. Whereas Els is the way the metaphor I always use is like chipping away at a rock. and eventually it'll crack, and I can get him just to the point. The one thing that really annoyed was the salmon on the floor.
Oh, but that was.
But then we actually beefed. That's the only time we've argued.
Heart rate's going up again.
He's thinking about it. He's put himself in the salmon situation.
Yeah, that was bad. But that wasn't me annoying you. Ellis dropped some salmon, and I was like,
why did we argue?
Because you dropped salmon on the floor, and I was like, oh, you're going to pick that up, bro? Like about half a second after he dropped it. And then you were like, oh, can you just stop, man? Like, lost it. And then, but
that was lockdown.
Yeah, that was lockdown.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'd literally
That's more understandable.
This.
You can swear. You can swear. It's fine.
Just beat that bit out.
We will actually, just because you spoke about it, Joe, we'll play a bit of me, which real quick, I'll try and get the name of someone. Apologies if I miss it. How are you going to pronounce that? I think Zhao Kuo. Yeah, off the Discord. Mentioned sort of what made you that transition towards that kind of indie dance style.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you sort of touched on there, but yeah, sonically, I guess it's just because you got more into the kind of sound design.
Yeah, I suppose as I was listening to a lot more like Flume and stuff at the time as well, and like Sophie and you know, rest in peace. That kind of really made me realize how much more I wanted to experiment with sound design, and you know, I suppose me talking about that is inspired by, it's like a juxtaposition between like obsession,
you love a juxtaposition.
Like, we love that word,
destructive but desirable. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the production is like very just jarring and very heavy, but you have the lyrics which are quite, you know, they have like a bit of a softer edge, you know what I mean? So
that bit's gonna get absolutely clipped up for socials.
Yeah.
That is.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad it could be.
Let's give it a listen. This was an arcade release, yeah. I'll skip a bit into it. I love that tune.
What genre is this? Without putting it in a
garage, right?
Yeah, garage, like
Joe
definitely
garage.
heavy garage element.
Joe Garage.
It's sick.
Joe Garage, yeah. I'll take that. Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Yeah, you're right, because it's like rough. Like this is like like in the best way, like sandpaper. You know, like
no, totally.
It's,
someone described it to me like that. I think it was in a DM. They were like, it sounds like a saw, just someone like going back and forth with a saw. And I was like, I'll take that.
But then you have like this bit.
Yeah, and it goes quite soft again.
I love the distortion in the bass as well.
So it's that metallic kind of sound that I took from like, you know, the hyperpop kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Could you play Hollywood as well? 'Cause was Hollywood the first NCS release you did?
NCS, yeah.
I feel like it's just to show the kind of change, especially with like the NCS sort of sound.
This tune.
I mean, was it just vocal on this one?
It was, yeah.
It was
and
just
Leo, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know this tune. Have you been producing since the time you was just a vocalist? Were you producing then as well?
Yeah. So it was kind of, I did, well, in the grand scheme of things, I was singing before producing, but then, you know, releasing. I was producing, then doing top lining as well.
Sick.
Yeah.
Leo.
It's tough to do both. So fair play.
I didn't know this track. Oh, Leo is pretty big.
Yeah. That's one Jake's Yeah.
So nice.
When was this?
2017?
Bloody hell, that's a while ago.
Yeah, 2017.
Good recall. I don't know why I remember that. Yeah, that's fire. So good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's sick to see that kind of progression from that sound, especially, I guess, just stepping more into the sound design yourself. It's cool. I mean, we're gassed to have the tracks out that we've got.
Thank you. I'm gassed to be a part of it and part of NCS.
Of course. Hello, little blonde fellow in the corner.
Hello.
I think for you, like I said earlier, living there and even like helping you with writing tracks and stuff, like it's way more noticeable to see the shift. And for you, like, being your friend, like it feels like from the way more future housey stuff you're making to the stuff now, it's way more in tune with the things that you listen to and the things you draw inspiration from. I guess going from like the EP time up to like Orbit and The Taste, and even like Dead Man Walking recently, which we had a massive shout for that in the Discord. Everyone was like, they love that track. That shift for you to go from, I guess, what is considered more EDM to, without shitting on anything else, more musical. Like, how was that development for you, and why did you feel like you wanted to get into those kind of sounds?
I think so. I came from a band background originally.
Did you?
which you obviously know about. And yeah, I was always more like music orientated before I went into production.
Yeah,
probably similar to you, Joe.
Yeah. I was going to say the band kind of thing.
Yeah,
I was in bands before as well.
And I think it sort of got, for me anyway, I don't know what it was like for you, bro, but it sort of, that faded away as I sort of learnt how to produce. And then,
the actual live.
Yeah, I was like, oh, no, let's just make EDM. And like, I was really excited about everything that was going on right, like around then with like REMIX and Zedd, Tiesto, all that stuff. And I just wanted to learn how to make that. So I went at lengths to figure out how to just make that sort of music. And then I sort of reached a point where I was like missing the musicality side of things. Not that a lot of that music doesn't have it, because a lot of it does. But there's also a large proportion of it that doesn't have that. Maybe just some like more interesting harmonies, or like even uses of like live instrumentation and stuff. So I think like during COVID especially, I sort of fell back into picking up my bass again, picking up the guitar, hopping on the piano or whatever and figuring out. And then I was like, how do I put this back into electronic music? And then that just naturally progressed into what it was, I guess.
I think that you initially started out with like, from what I saw of your journey, was you started learning like Logic and the kind of production software. And I think you went full on like technical skill.
Yeah.
And it was still musical there, but like you were full on like I feel like you went like that with technical ability. And I guess now with like, there's with real instruments that you're recording, it's less about technical in-depth thing. It's a bit more raw and real.
I think that was a large part of it. And I love nerding out. That's one of my main things that I love to do as a producer, is just sit down. How the hell did they make that sound? And then I'll just spend hours figuring it out.
I heard that.
Which is a dangerous place to go down.
Yeah.
This is the flip side of like me being annoying to you. Is like, I can't really be mad when I like sit in our gaff or our old gaff and hear literally the same millisecond of audio for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it's just that. So I can't be mad because I know I'll wind him up. But I'm like... And I know that you're in your absolute element there, like tweaking some of that much.
Maybe it's an element, maybe it's a zone. I don't know yet.
It's both.
But to answer your question, I think then just picking up instruments again, and I was like, oh, this is fun to like combine both of those loves together. But it was also a massive challenge, because I was like, making something that's designed for festivals and clubs, very musical and live orientated, was quite hard.
I was going to say this because I know that you've like struggled with sort of figuring out what is the live element for the Ellis project. I don't know if you say it as well, Joe, like coming from a musical background, when it comes to playing live, if you have all these things that you can actually play, but there's like a sort of lane of, right, you've got to come and be a DJ. I mean, we see like people like Tea and Sugar do it quite well, where they implement like live elements. Like I think they have like a keytar or something when they play live.
It's still like it's still drum and bass, but kind
it's
of
still
tempo
D&B,
and whatnot.
And like VOE, who were on the last podcast, they again have like they'll play live as well. They have instruments. But I don't know if you guys have an approach to how you want your live sound to sound without just saying, right, I'm going to go up and DJ.
Well, I've done a few gigs recently with a new kind of setup I've been testing, and it's just vocals, a push with a few parameters, just like sort of affecting the group.
What's a push?
The Ableton push. The push like 2. It's like a launch pad, with like a lot more.
Is that what Lou uses?
No.
Oh, thanks, mate.
But yeah, it's got like it's 8x8 grid, and you've got knobs as well. It's very much integrated with Ableton. Yeah. So it's like it runs alongside Ableton. You can literally do everything in Ableton on it. So I've been using one of them. And keyboard, Roland Gaia SH01, and I've just been playing around with that. I wanted it to be quite simple, kind of like, not too much, I don't know, I was going to say faffing about. Mostly backing track, but also just like focusing on like the vocal and like a few, tiddly bits on the keyboard. So
nice.
So I guess in that as well, like the energy of it, half of the energy is actually coming from the fact that you're moving around doing different things. Like that it's the atmosphere outside of just the song that's playing back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Would you play other people's tracks in that kind of set, or is it all yours? Or?
It's all mine currently, but I've also been thinking about how to present it, because I'd love to do DJing as well. So whether it be like there's just the Joe Garrett live thing, and then there's like Joe Garrett DJ set. Have it in brackets, and then play late night at a club and
sick.
Drop other tunes alongside my own.
Nice.
So yeah, it's something that I've been thinking about, but it's quite difficult because I think when you're in a band and you're used to just playing actual like live instruments, to then have to go and build a live set, it's something that I've been really trying to think about how it to be organic, but also not just look like it's just a backing track.
Yeah, because I guess you're like in a band, you're responsible for one element of 5 to however many that makes a full sound, whereas when it's you playing live, you're like, right, well, I mean, we see it with like Lou, like our mate, like he'll spend like a good few minutes having to build up the whole thing, which I guess when you're playing to a crowd that wants electronic music, they're like, where's the drop? Like, come on.
It's one-man band. It's hard. I think Fred does it really well.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, we need that
actually,
one.
what was the ding for?
We've now mentioned Ellis, Brighton and Fred.
Is that the triple whammy?
It's usually, yeah.
Can you make like you should have a button for that.
Yeah. I have another thing of like
sprinkles
when people unintentionally say, and it really comes full circle. I love when that happens, because the podcast name, right? And I'm like, yes. Sorry, you were saying.
It's kind of like the first time I'd never listened to Barry Can't Swim, literally before we went to Lost Village last week.
Barry Can't Swim.
So cool.
But we watched his set, and he ran from the main stage where he was playing a live set of, I assume it was all of his own stuff with a few covers of like some old dance classics, and then he ran to like this other smaller stage where he just DJ'd for like 3 hours. And I was like, that was super sick.
What day was that? I wasn't there for that. No.
Maybe you weren't there. But he was on keys.
Oh, sick.
I feel like keys is a big like staple for a lot of people's live sets, which is one thing that I'm not proficient enough in to play live.
I'm terrible at playing keys. I try so hard. I mean, I use it as like a reference. Usually I'm not completely fluent in playing. I can play the guitar best, but like keyboard, it's like you said, it's like it feels like the central instrument for like, referencing.
I guess it fills space as well, doesn't it? Like if you've got like a drone or something,
you can literally
like
put any sound on it as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But yeah, like I envy people that can just like just play so fluently, and I'm there with one finger like, that doesn't really work. That doesn't work, and then you're just there for quite a while, But someone can just sit there and go, right, that chord works with that.
I'm so envious of that, man.
Yeah,
we watched. Is it Tourist?
Tourist is sick.
Literally, I just discovered him, and like if any other lads that watch this, they'll laugh because it's like the new thing for me now. But so good, and it did this full set, like sort of in the Fred again vibe for sure. Like it's that minimal, like what was the label that I said where Pete's at?
Anjuna.
Like this never happened kind of style, right?
Yeah.
Watched this whole set, and I think first time he's played in the UK in a while. Got to the end of it, and like come to the last couple of tracks, and one of our mates is like, "Oh, we're talking about it after, sorry." And one of our mates is like, "Oh yeah, he wasn't DJing. Like it was all completely live." And I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough musically anyway to actually understand, even if I looked at him doing it. But I think he has like tapes and loops and stuff, but it was like looking at him, because it was all on like the desk as well. You would have literally thought he was doing a full DJ set, but it was so sick.
He was mental, yeah.
But again, like his music plays into that a bit, I think, because it's that slow, like the Anjuna type stuff, and this now happened. It's got that long progress. Like you can add like a kick.
Yeah,
and
so
that works. Yeah.
And very melodic as well.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a bunch of like chops and stuff going on.
Yeah, whereas I guess like for something like your stuff, like how do you build the orbit drop?
But what sort of stuff are you playing now when you play a set? 'Cause obviously before it was all like future house.
Yeah,
back in the
we haven't
day.
played for a while either, though.
And I guess that's kind of relevant to.
Yeah.
I think one of the questions, what was it like? What happened to Ellis?
Oh yes. I can't remember who said it. I'll search
question.
for it, but you can answer it now. Somebody just put in the Discord, what happened to Ellis?
I'm alive and well. Which lens am I looking into?
You're not
all of them.
You can look into anyone.
I'm alive and well. No, fair question. I mean, when was it? Probably right before COVID hit, maybe during COVID. when after the EP dropped, I was offered a publishing deal. So to answer your question, I fell into that, and I was basically for the past 3 years just been exclusively producing music for other artists and pop stuff.
3 years. Jeez.
Yeah, it's been a while now. And yeah, I completely fell in love with it. To be fair, I was quite open with it on my socials as well, because I didn't want people to just think I'd vanished. But yeah, it takes up a lot of time.
Where are you at now? Like, you making your own music? Obviously, you put out something recently. You got the remix and whatnot.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, for some reason, there's now more than ever, like, just loads of remixes are happening. So there should be a few more remixes dropping this year, and then one more single. And then next year, my plan is to just get everything that's like kind of sitting on a SoundCloud list at the minute, just strategically put it out and just go with a whole new thing.
How did the Zedd remix come to fruition? I mean, we've obviously spoke about we've had BEAUZ releases with ourselves before. We spoke about them on the podcast actually, and then we met them at ADE. I don't know if you've ever met BEAUZ. Oh my god, they're just the
super
best
eccentric.
energy.
Yeah, they've got so much.
I was watching a reel
dudes.
of them earlier. They like call their fans like baddies.
Yeah, I love
it.
it.
And they did. I mean, fair play to them. I think they did in like the space of a week, like 10 shows all over like Asia and then back to America. They're shooting all over, and every like place they were like baddies showing up. I was like, this is
some berries and baddies.
But yeah, so they're on the track, and then who's the vocalist
on that one? It's Maren Morris.
Yeah, yeah. How did that come about?
So I've been working with Zedd for about 3 years, 4 years. Jeez. Just on little bits and bobs, and then with that one, I remember he sent me the song maybe a few months before it came out, and I was like, can I remix it? And he was like, yeah, here's the stems. So I made a quick remix of it, sent him the idea, and he was like, this is sick, like finish it. So I finished it, and then it just didn't come out because I think the label were just like, we're not doing remixes for this one, or for whatever reason. So completely forgot about it. And then I saw him in Vegas, maybe was it June or July this year?
A few months ago.
And you know, like he plays in Vegas every other weekend or something like that, maybe 3 times a month. And we were behind the decks, and then he just played it, and I was like, And then after the show, I was like, I didn't realize you like, thanks for playing it. And he's like, I've played it in like so many sets, and I was like,
wow,
what? So like after that, anyway, I think it was a few months went by, and then his manager hit me up and was like, we're going to put it out. And then so it just came out.
So sick.
How did you get in touch with him? How did that all like come about
with Zedd?
Yeah.
I did a few bootlegs of his songs.
Yeah,
it was the 365 one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I bootlegged Happy Now, put that up, nothing happened. It did okay, remix, I guess. And then were you managing me at the time? Yeah. So yes, with the 365 one as well. Yeah.
That one's sick. I love that.
Bootlegged that one, put it on SoundCloud, and then he just saw it.
Was
and
it Twitter?
Out.
It was Twitter.
He reacted with like a fire emoji.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the fire emoji.
I was like, that's the best fire emoji I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. That's so interesting. It's weird as well. I mean, this seems like a regular topic on the podcast, but like, again, from hearing it, like, I think when you released the track, which as of recording is like a week ago, like I remember being like, well, I've heard this whilst cooking like chicken and rice in the kitchen, and then like Zedd's playing it out in Vegas, like, you know, BEAUZ are probably playing it out on the tours. It's really, really weird. Like, I guess, I mean, you're touching on your live set, Joe, hearing a track that is literally just an idea in your brain to then X number of months down the road playing it out or going to ADE and hearing people being like, I love that track. It's got to be a surreal feeling, right?
Sure. It's so rewarding. I think, you know, being able to...
Love how you say that. Sorry to interrupt. So rewarding.
So rewarding. From Yorkshire. I'm not from Yorkshire. I'm from Teesside. Sorry.
Teesside.
Middlesbrough. But I've been living in Yorkshire for a while, so there's some Yorkshireisms happening.
Yorkshireism. Is that a thing? A real life thing?
I hope so, because I've just said it.
It is now.
It is now.
I've
coined the term. But yeah, no, it's super rewarding to have that from being just an idea, like you said, in your head, to then becoming a thing that can be played out and people react to it, and you know, you can see their reaction as well in real time is something that you can't really beat.
Yeah,
I think
it's just different, isn't it? It's especially like, and as much as I guess you take the feedback of the people that you might send your tracks to get feedback on, like to heart, and you work on what people might say, like, okay, I don't really like this, or someone that's more like, if you sent a track to each other, you'd be able to give like more technical feedback on things. But seeing someone just there who loves the tracks, like when you played the Melquake show, which was, you started your set at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And then there was like people at the front just screaming back like tracks that we'd wrote in the kitchen.
Yeah, that must have been surreal for you.
It was so weird.
It was your first time at ADE.
Yeah, it was. You started with Caught in the Race. So remember, he was coming up with his set list, and the first song on the EP just like bum, 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 that like arpeggiator. And he was like, oh, I'm going to start with this. I was like, why are you not starting with Caught in the Race? Because it's just the perfect intro for a set. And then like these lyrics that I remember vividly. Lou was cooking and I was recording it underneath the bedsheet in the kitchen. Like, and I found the demo vocal for it the other day. That's like, I'm way off beat. The singing's terrible. And then it turns into like this bloke next to me at 4 a.m. in Amsterdam singing it out. It's the weirdest thing, man. Like, very, very strange.
So weird.
Yeah, to just see
so weird and
beautiful
beautiful.
really come to life.
It's very beautiful.
Music's a beautiful thing.
I think,
Speaking of beautiful things.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do that first, and then we'll go on to ADE. Speaking of beautiful
excited.
things.
What's in store?
So we're gonna play. I mean, I mentioned it to you before we started, but yeah, we'll play some upcoming tracks that we've got coming out on the label. I think this first one. Let me find timings for it real quick. I'm pretty sure it comes out just after this episode goes live. Let's play it out.
So, yeah, it's not that bit, obviously.
Oh, careful.
Yeah, don't.
Oh yeah. So Itro, All of You, featuring Chris. How would you say that?
Elaine.
Do you think you're confident enough? Dan was trying to get the laptop over.
I was going to press the button, but it doesn't matter, honestly. I wouldn't personally do that to you, but if you want to do that, it's fine.
All right, cool. Let's skip through it. Already going to be a drum bass.
Itro or Itro is a classic on NCS.
Oh, really?
Way
Okay.
better.
Watery bit.
Yeah.
Give me some water. Dope.
That's dope,
Sick.
man.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
We have to cut it short because, like, the NCS nerds will clip it,
Nerds.
and then they'll make.
Just call them nerds.
Yeah, look, they're nerds in the best way. I'm sat with 3 massive nerds, but the fans will take it and like clip it and upload it on YouTube and like those little bits. That was fire though, man.
That
I
is
mean,
sick.
I could hear the D&B drop from the get go.
Itro was his name.
Yeah.
Itro,
Or it might be Itro. I don't know.
Yeah.
Itro. Nice.
I'm pretty sure it's. Go on Spotify. It's Itro and Continuum Lost, I think. Do Itro, or maybe it's just Continuum Lost. But Itro is definitely. No, just do Itro and then. Is it Lost?
I like that little bit.
No, it's.
Oh, Cloud9. I
do
know that song.
Panda. Yeah. Panda. That's classic.
Panda.
I don't know why I thought Continuum Lost, but if you just go to.
No?
Yeah, I mean, this is an absolute. This is 2014.
Dictionary definition NCS.
Yeah.
Is this like the logo where it's just NCS?
Yeah,
That's
massive
just the artwork. It's straight up just
Sick.
the logo.
Throwback.
Yeah.
You'll have heard this in some football video somewhere. Yeah.
What was your one
I
that kept
like that.
getting used by 443?
Oh.
Was it my Clear My Head? Clear My Head. Yeah.
Banger.
They love
Dot
that one.
MP4.
Banger.
Brother.
Dot
Banger.
MP4. Whatever
Clear
it
my
was.
head. Dot
Underscore.
MP4.
Yeah.
What was the
something.
underscore?
It was underscore.
Version 4.
But yeah, that was a super cool tune. I like that. I mean, I'm trying to figure out. It's a learning curve for me doing this job of like what electronic music I like, and D&B is high up there for me. I'm a big fan. That's something I can actually listen to.
It's easy.
Yeah, and is it liquid when it's like nicer, like softer?
Very soft.
Yeah, I really like that.
Flows like liquid.
Speaking of, big fan of this guy. You love In Touch, eh? In Touch is sick.
In Touch.
In Touch, all one word.
New artist.
A newer artist that we've got.
artist,
I'm going to actually play this one up to like the end of the drop just
So
because it's
good.
fire. I think the production's sick.
4 tracks from him, and it's just unreal.
Little vocal genius. It sort of gives me your vibes a little bit. It's that minimal
like
vibe.
a hyperpop kind of pitch
Yeah,
kind of thing.
that-
Yeah, the
love
pitch
that
up
high
kind of
pitch
vibe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a little offbeat hi hat. Oh yes. Yeah, just sick.
Giving me Fred energy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
This is dope. Sort of reminds me like of that show we went to the other day, like
Sam Day
Sam Day and Duskus.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
this
in
is
that
Got
world.
like that
Exactly
universe.
Duskus is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that.
And Sunday as well.
Yeah, it's that.
Love
that like. I mean, it comes out of I think I said this on the Sam Day podcast. What is it? Pink Panthers. Her like UK garagey sound.
Yeah.
There's this world of like again really like soft and minimal, but fast.
EDM.
Like
Yeah, soft
quick,
boy
Yeah.
EDM.
Me and Ellis have spoke about this. Like, I think if Fred drops like an EDM tune now, it's back. Like it's really
EDM
coming
as a
back.
genre is back.
Yeah, like,
But people won't call it EDM. They'll be like, no, this is Fred. But it's like when he dropped Rumble, everyone's like, this is not EDM. Like, it's dubstep.
yeah, it's definitely come back. That tune's sick though.
That is
Yeah,
sick.
that
I
mate.
love that
That's
one.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it switches it up on the last track. So.
But this guy hasn't released any music before. Or...
Never. Well, he's done a different artist name, but yeah, it's actually. I don't want to give too much info because I don't know whether we want to know. But so Harry, who's our product manager, used to work at Heroic.
Yeah.
And this artist used to release on Heroic back in the day, and now he's got a new identity. So.
Yeah,
Mate,
it's
I
so
want to
cool.
hear the other tunes.
Yeah,
from
we
him.
can play some
really
after.
good.
Next track up, Cage. You said you know Cage. Or
I
you
know
know
his
of?
music, yeah. I
Um,
think he's done some Monster Cat stuff.
I think he's Netherlands, so we might see him at ADA.
hopefully. We did. By the way, if there's any artists watching this, send us a message on Instagram or send me an email if you've got it to let us know if you're going to be in ADE. Because going to try and do the same kind of thing we did last year with the live podcasts, which are really cool. Go on.
Do we need to announce what we're doing? Because when's this coming out?
I think no, we don't.
Fine.
We've got ages. We've got
Big,
one
big
before.
news coming soon announcement.
Watch his space.
Follow for more.
What's this space?
Yeah.
New music soon.
Like, subscribe, notification bell.
Set.
Yeah. Cage, Commotion. This is going to be heavy.
What's all the commotion? Get ready for explosion. We rolling.
That's silly.
I love the little bit crush on that as well.
So skippy.
That's silly, that. In the best possible way.
What genre you call this? That's my favourite question to ask. I have the excuse of not making music, so I can ask the question. You're going to get the answer.
It's not tech house. It's not bass. Is it closer to bass
I think it
house?
sits in between of those two
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was having this conversation with my dad and my brother the other day, and like my brother was just going through Spotify. What genre is this? What genre is this? And I was just like, French new disco twist. Like, it's just stupid. Just
But
call
what
it
do
house music.
What is it? You describe yourself as new funk now, right? But with a U. Is that what it is?
New
Yeah,
funk?
probably yeah.
Yeah,
The
new
the,
funk.
the recollection perspective stuff for sure
That
was
was
like
proper
new funk. Yeah.
Yeah.
New
'Cause,
disco,
like-
new funk.
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
What do I describe myself as?
Yeah.
Joe Garage, innit?
Joe
Garrett.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Did we put that in the podcast or were we talking
Yeah,
about
we
that
have, we
before?
have, we have,
Oh,
we have.
thank goodness for that.
Yeah,
I was like,
just
what,
come out
what
of
is he on
nowhere,
about?
like, 'cause Joe owns a garage.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's do maybe these, right?
I find it more fun
Oh,
seeing what
this-
people call it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what people
yeah.
come up with.
That one.
Yeah,
Cool.
but there's so many subgenres, so many labels for things. Now, I agree. You know, it's just like,
Everything's electronic.
Just
Yeah.
It just sit it under the umbrella of, yeah.
Electronic.
Yeah, 'cause
umbrella.
we were having this conversation the other day of like what's NCS. We were trying to call it like when you explain NCS to someone, what genre of music do we release?
Just EDM.
And I think
No, but this is the thing: is that if you were staying up to date regularly with the releases, it's not.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
well, so
because
yeah,
the traditional sound, yes, but not nowadays.
we've
I wouldn't say.
shifted, but like I think now we're kind of the idea is that we are a dance music labels. So not always electronic, but dance music in general is the kind of general gist.
I played you some of Roud. It was it's like indie dance, like bandy, almost like band music.
Yeah, I think maybe does it sit under the umbrella of electronic?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like just dance.
Isn't everything
music?
electronic? Because you record it in an electronic way. Isn't that the?
Well, this
unless
is the
it's
problem.
like straight up live.
We're getting deep now.
Oh god, this is one for the Discord. This is one for the Discord. Let us know in the comments what 3 words you would use to describe music that NCS releases.
Yeah, if you had to explain it to someone else. Yeah,
that's call to action right there. One more track. How would you say the name for this?
This is JOEGARRATT'S, and the track is called Marcher.
Marcher.
You've got to play a little bit
Matcher.
at the beginning of this one.
Okay.
No, Marcher. It's French for something. I think it's walking or something like that.
Okay.
But this one is insane. Might need the volume up a bit.
Boost it up.
Sorry, lads. Give me a hot moment. Oh yeah, we played this.
It's insane.
Sounds like the BBC intro. I don't know if you guys heard it.
Translates to Walker.
Walker.
Right, let's skip through a bit.
What?
Ridiculous.
It's so funny. Wait, let me go again on that.
Reload that.
There's literally no drums until that point.
Sinon c'est lui d'étoile. Dans les mers.
Just the kicks. That is sick.
This in a club would be nuts.
Someone needs to play this out.
It's great.
Fire.
So good.
JOEGARRATT'S is a
Straight
staple,
from
man.
the devil's lair, that one.
Yeah,
He's been killing
deep.
it lately.
Yeah,
Really
but even
killing
like
it.
for the last couple of years, especially like it's a name that's just regularly come up.
What's the name again? Sorry.
JOEGARRAT'S. JOEGARRAT'S. Yeah.
JOEGARRAT'S.
Super talented producer.
So
Actually had a recent remix EP come out.
Yeah, For Love. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Thorn had a remix on it. Really tight.
Thorn is sick.
Ellis's doppelganger.
Well, apparently my doppelganger. Yeah.
Well, Thorn is you when you were his age.
Yeah.
Literally, it's so funny. Yeah, some serious heat coming soon. Some serious heat dropping for your head tops. Watch this damn
Watch
space.
this space.
I think what would be super interesting to get a bit of perspective on from you guys, we will talk about the ADE stuff because I know you wanted to mention it, is like kind of advice that you could give to younger producers. I asked this in general, but we've discussed quite a lot already about the lanes that you guys have crafted, shifting sound, branding for yourself, Joe.
Yeah.
Els, I know that you've sort of struggled in the past with like what is Ellis as a project, that kind of thing. And I think for a lot of the audience that watch this, they're in that process of figuring out like, I love music, I make all this different stuff, I don't know how to get my sound to labels, I don't know what a brand is, I don't have a manager XYZ. Like, if you could give any kind of advice, Joe, to people watching now that just want to get their music heard by people, like how do you approach it from the get-go?
Well, I think the key really before any of that is really like, don't overthink what you're doing. I think trying to aim for a certain thing or, trying to deviate from what you want to do is kind of where you might go wrong first. It's kind of like, don't over complicate the process, don't overthink it. Just, I know it sounds really cliche, but create what you want, and that don't overthink it, because I think that's how you get forward. And people, if you believe in what you're doing, then other people will too. And I think that's kind of the key to finding your sound maybe, and then getting it to labels. Just, persevere. I was going to say nag, but in a way it's like just, believe in what you're doing, it to the sense where you send music to labels. You don't give up at the first no. Rejection isn't, bad. It's just, it's not the right time maybe, or the right place, but just keep going for it.
I think it's the approach as well. I think you've always had a really positive, friendly approach.
Yeah. Definitely.
You built relationships through that.
Build the relationships first, be genuine, and be genuine in what you're doing, and towards people in the industry. And I think that's definitely the key foundation to getting forward in it, for sure.
That's a really good answer.
Smashed it, mate.
That's an amazing answer. Try and follow that, buddy.
Mate, I would echo literally everything you said, to be honest. I think just to develop more on the point of rejection is literally just never stop. Ever. And I don't mean go spamming people and like just hello, like never do that. You know,
collab,
bro. Never do that. Don't ever reach out to somebody and say collab, bro. Just make genuine connections with people and like work with the people you like working with, hang out with them, and as soon as you hear a no, go somewhere else.
Yeah, and
just try again. And if you want to go back to that label in the future or that person with a different song, go ahead. Like you will never, I mean, in this industry, if it's something you want to enter, everyone is going to reject you. It doesn't matter how big you are. You will get rejected
for every 100 no's.
Everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like the biggest people in the world get rejected all the time.
Oh yeah.
There was an artist, I won't mention their name, that I was working with a few years ago that was doing a song for a movie. Huge, really big artist, and they were gutted because they got declined. And I was like, it's mad that even like the big people get declined.
Everyone.
It's mad because like the labels also don't really know what they're talking about anyway. And that's coming from a label. It's like, you know, we've declined tracks before that have gone on to do insane.
Oh, yeah.
And those artists blow up.
But it's
so like, we don't know what. It's just
it's an opinion-based game where
opinion-based.
someone has a decision, which in anything creative always blows my mind. I think I've said this to you before. I was like, even with like design or video editing, someone gets to say yes and no when everything's opinion-based, which is a really difficult game to play. So like to echo Ellis's point is like you can't expect to get a yes just because you think something's cool. Like just keep trying. Like eventually it will hit.
So somebody like Joe said, if you believe in it, somebody will believe in it as well. But you've got to find that person, and it doesn't matter if like 10 people hate it. Somebody's going to like it.
Yeah,
if it's good,
for sure.
You've got to be doing it because you want to do it as well.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's the thing is don't set yourself up for failure by putting yourself in a box and going down this really small, narrow channel of this is my sound, this is my brand. Because in even 5 to 10 years time, even 1 year's time, you might be bored.
Yeah.
Like, and you're stuck then. You can't really break out of that. So I think whatever you do, make sure it comes from you. And I think that makes something sound like you.
Yeah. You've got...
And
sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's all I'd say is just don't feel like you need to ever box yourself in.
Nice.
It's very important.
I think that echoes to both of you. It feels like a spine through this podcast of that shift in sound that we've spoken about. But that goes back to that point again. Across that kind of discography that you guys have got with the shift in the actual audio, Joe, for you singing as well, and top line things as well as just producing, and Els as well, like you've sang on a few of your tunes and also worked with other producers. Do you have a favourite release of your own across all your tunes so far, / if there's a track that has come out that hasn't come out yet, that you can give a little hint on that might be your upcoming favourite? Els? Sorry, I've got a favourite Ellis tune.
I'm going to tell them my favourite after this.
Can you guess my favourite Ellis tune?
Caught in the Rose?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I do really like that tune. I think not every artist, but a lot of artists will always say that the stuff that they haven't released yet is their favourite stuff because
it's always going to say one that's not been
just
released.
Trying to sell it. You're just trying to sell it like, oh yeah, watch out this. Yeah,
watch this space.
Yeah.
Let's watch this big news coming soon.
Announcement coming soon. Been off socials for a while.
No, I'd say there's a tune that I've got. My next release with BEAUZ is I really like that one. And then there's a bunch of stuff that will come next year. But I'd say yeah.
Joe,
it's one that I've not released yet.
Do you have?
If I pick one that has been released, it would have been Aya, which is out on Arcade. Recent one. Was it March? End of March?
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite ones. It was probably like the start or the staple, like of what's the word?
Yeah, that was
the start. Yeah, of like that kind of
steer of
shift in like super like sort of sound design.
The person that asked that question, Xiaoku, said that they really like that tune actually.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. What's the name?
Xiaoku, XIAO.
I'm gonna say
Xiaoku.
Thank you, Xiaoku.
Yeah.
Appreciate.
Do you have favourite Joe and Ellis tunes?
Mine would be Aya. I think it was really cool track. Super different. And I would say Ellis probably I think Clear My Head, I think it's not just because of the track. I think it was just also like that project as a whole was super cool.
That was
like,
funny.
I really like that one.
Yeah,
Cheers,
it's just it was just a really cool project to kind of be involved with.
Have we spoken about that project?
We haven't, no.
About the whole
Just
Clear My Head MP4.
Yeah, because it's quite funny.
What we got?
We probably need to wrap up in a sec, but let's listen to Aya and then we'll discuss that. So I've only listened through this tune like once. Yeah, this is with the one.
Is this on NCS?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So fire that is, Joe.
Reverb on the vocal there.
So spacey.
Thank you.
Deathly 808.
Unreal.
It's almost, it's just blown out like distortion. Love it. I think
so
am I distorting here?
Yeah, that tune's
Clear
fire.
My Head.
So Clear My Head.
Very quickly on that. So I think the idea of the campaign was like we wanted it to appear like it had been leaked or like uploaded too early.
By accident.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think they still think it's an accident, but it wasn't.
Well,
but
this is exposed for the first time ever.
Ellis exposed. So we had the track ready, and then we were like, "Oh, how can we make a big splash with this?" So we uploaded the track, and the title was like "Clear My Head version 2" or
underscore
MP4.
Yeah.
And then I think we left it up, and all the comments were like, "Oh my god, they leaked it by accident or whatever."
But it was just a little teaser thing as well.
Yeah, it just gets people sending it to their mates like, what has happened?
That's why like anything is promo nowadays. Like mistakes are like so good. Like all the mistakes I've made previously in the job just come back around.
Also, Charlotte Sands, killing it. She was a vocalist on this.
It is iconic.
I still like this song.
Yeah.
I usually hate most of my own stuff,
but I don't think like there's like super funky element to that still.
Yeah, it's quite simple.
Well, especially
when
the slap bass goes dunk and then second half.
Yeah, Charlotte Sands, man. She's
one
killing
more
it.
time as well. One more time. The garage version you did, the ELS.
Oh yeah.
So good.
I should start that project again.
That project was cool, man. We will wrap it up now, but real quickly. We've had a question from the Discord. That was from a question from the Discord. Sorry, about forever releases by BBQH. Thank you for sending that in. I just wanted to touch on. We spoke about ADE. Obviously, that's coming up. I'm hoping you guys will both be there. You're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Awesome, sick. That was the first time we met last ADE.
It was. Yeah.
I think I came up to you.
Remember that very
drunk,
briefly.
and I was
very
like,
drunk
and
as
I was
well.
like, I was like,
party was.
It was too small, and I was. Everyone thought I was like on drugs but I was just sweating from running around and filming socials.
I'm sweating in here.
I think I came up to Joe and was just like, "Hi, like this is really weird, but I like have known about your existence for like."
So imagine some bloke comes up to you in a bar, he's dripping with sweat. I've heard about your existence. They're going to think your opinion.
Because I was really drunk. It wasn't as jarring as it sounds in that sense.
Fair.
But it was actually really nice.
ADE.
It was really nice. Really nice to meet you at that point.
So I'm guessing you guys will be there next year, but this year, sorry. But aside from kind of ADE plans, what's the future looking like for the both of you, Joe?
I think I'm fully set on this kind of new venture, this new like era of what I'm doing, like the whole experimentation and sound design, alt pop kind of electronic things. Just threw loads of labels out there, like, you know, we were talking about subgenres and all that, but I've just literally done it. And just carrying on with that kind of vibe. I think I just want to be consistent still, because I've been releasing like a single every month or so keeping that up, and just singles that I'm proud of. The future for me though, I'd really like to do an album, and because I've really found my sound. So I think now's like the time for that body of work to happen.
Smart man for dropping that live on a podcast. Yeah. Smart work.
Watch his space.
That'll be a TikTok later on.
Album. Announcement soon. Eyes emoji. Else?
For me, so I'm still doing a lot of the pop, pop behind the scenes production stuff for other artists. So I'm doing that. I'll announce some of that stuff when I'm allowed.
We're just doing like.
Because that stuff is really exciting, but I just don't get to talk about it until it actually, I'm allowed to. And then for myself, there's like I said, there's a song coming out in October with BEAUZ and Sarah De Warren, which will be sick.
Oh, I love Sarah.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about
it. Well, if you're not, tell me, then we'll have to cut that out.
And then next year for me is like a fresh start. Go straight back into releasing as much as I possibly can, because I've not done it consistently for the past 3 years or so. And I'm sitting on some music that I'm really happy with, so that's the plan.
Hopefully we see an Anyway V2.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
interesting.
Let's do it, mate. I'm so down.
I'm down as well. Let's do it.
Sick.
There we go.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us. Thank
having
you.
your time. All right. No, Ellis, thank you as well. I know that, like I said, you owe it us because we've
no worries,
many
mate, no
times.
worries.
But yeah,
This
it's
is for you,
been
so.
good. Good for the boys to chat. What a couple of beers after this then.
Yeah, beers.
That's what I was
What time's the pub shut?
Bosh.
Fantastic.
Thank you guys so much for watching, for listening, for all your support as always, and we'll see you on the next episode of Full
Big
Circle.
love.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cheers.